As the American Pacific drive towards Japan accelerates, and as Stalin in the East and the Allied bombing campaign in the West continue to weaken the Third Reich, America prepares to test its troops in North Africa. They will join a desert campaign that has been raging for over 2 years. June 10th, 1940. Italy, under Benito Mussolini, joins the Axis, and with Germany, plans to force Britain from North Africa.
North Africa was a vital front for the British in World War II because it was the vital hinge of the British Empire.
A German and Italian victory will open up the untapped oil reserves of the Middle East and seize the Suez Canal that connects Britain to its empire.
The Suez Canal you need to protect at all costs. The bottom line, if you're moving large quantities of equipment, you got to use the sea lanes, and that's as true today as it was then.
September 1940, the Axis invades. For 2 years, they drive the British back, but the advance is halted as German Field Marshal Rommel is defeated at El Alamein. To capitalize on this victory, Churchill lobbies Roosevelt for support, but the majority of presidential advisors have their doubts.
Initially, most American senior military personnel saw the campaign in North Africa as a diversion from the main effort, essentially a waste of time.
Decisively, Roosevelt overrides his counsel.
FDR's decision to send American forces to North Africa, probably the most important strategic decision of World War II.
It really gave us a place where we could land the U.S. Army, bring it into battle against secondary German units, not the units we'd encounter in Europe. And so it was a brilliant move.
Since the Pearl Harbor attack, a vast American army has been amassing, hungry for their first taste of war.
People were lined up at the recruiting stations. All the boys were up in arms. I graduated in February, and I was in uniform in March. The country had been violated, is what we thought, and everybody just wanted to get busy and do something about it.
Volunteers and inductees from the draft swell the ranks as America rises to become the largest military power in the world.
Before the war, the total strength of the U.S. Army, including its Air Corps, was well below 200,000. There would be over a 40-fold increase in the space of 6 years.
During the war, the armed forces encompassed 16 million men under arms. That's 13% of the entire population.
With this vast army assembled, America is primed for Operation Torch, then the largest amphibious invasion in history.
Torch actually was a very important rehearsal for D-Day. It was a huge operation. It was logistically extremely complex.
Torch was a monumental challenge for the U.S. because we hadn't won the Battle of the Atlantic yet. We have to escort troops, ammunition, supplies from the United States direct to North Africa, escort troops from Great Britain down to North Africa through waters patrolled by German submarines. Then we have to land them on a hostile shore.
November 8th, 1942. 73,000 Allied troops disgorge onto the beaches. And immediately, the problems begin.
What we saw in the landings in North Africa is a great study in everything that can go wrong in an amphibious landing, and virtually everything that could go wrong did go wrong.
The landing craft, you didn't run out the front, right onto the beach. Instead, you had to jump over the side. That, of course, is not the most efficient way to get in there. It's the most dangerous. It's the slowest. A number of our craft get stuck on sandbars. When they drive them out, the electronics get fried.
Fortunately, they're fighting the Vichy French, who fight half-heartedly. And had they been attacking the Germans in 1944 or the Japanese in 1944, the experience would have been a lot worse.
As French Vichy troops loyal to Hitler capitulate, U.S. forces head for Tunisia and their first clash with the full-strength German war machine.
They're really blissfully ignorant of the realities of modern war. I mean, they've got their trucks, they've got their tanks, they've got their rifles, they've got their very complicated chain of command from army to corps, division, brigade, regiment, battalion. They think that they'll do fine.
U.S. forces engage Rommel outside the town of Faid. Making an initial breakthrough, they pursue retreating panzer divisions. From space, Rommel's master tactic is revealed. The panzers are decoys, luring U.S. forces into a trap.
They fall prey to the techniques of double envelopment by the Germans, with some very good weapons like the German 88.
The 88 millimeter gun was literally a world-class anti-tank weapon. Not only could it shoot at a further distance, but it had an incredible kill rate. It's basically just lethal. This thing is diabolic.
In many cases, Americans either surrendered or dropped their weapons and ran. The American performance, to put it charitably, was abysmal.
U.S. forces are pushed back into Kasserine Pass, where, under constant attack, the untested units fall apart.
To raise an armed force of 16 million people in a hurry means that in the initial stages of armed conflict, you're going to have troops in the front line who have no taste of battle before this moment. Dwight Eisenhower, for example, becomes the Supreme Allied Commander. Before World War II, before the North African campaign, he had never heard a bullet fired in anger in his entire life. He had no actual combat experience.
Further disaster is averted when reinforcements from the British First Army arrive. And with Field Marshal Montgomery approaching from the east, Rommel retreats. Frank Gervasi witnesses the aftermath.
When we got to Kasserine Pass and we had patrols going out, and you could still smell the flesh from, the burnout tanks and human beings, and it was bad. We took an awful beating. Don't forget, though, we were against Germany's best, Rommel's. We had the equipment, but we didn't have the experience.
America suffers 6,500 casualties. Its first land battle in World War II is a disaster.
Kasserine was a tremendous defeat for the United States. There's just no way to sugarcoat that. On the other hand, Kasserine is the best thing that ever happened to the U.S. Army. It's better to get your butt kicked there than get your butt kicked in Normandy.
There are some changes made in policies and how we're going to operate, but there are also some key leadership changes. You've got Eisenhower earning his spurs, you've got George Patton. And the lessons learned in North Africa are going to be applied for the rest of World War II.
The new U.S. Army doctrines ensure a dramatic turnaround. First, Tunisia falls, followed by Sicily, preparing the way for the Allied invasion of Italy. And on the other side of the world, the Pacific War enters a new phase of ferocity.
The carnage was phenomenal.